So the president decided to cater the event himself, and he catered it with McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, and pizza.
We're going to get some burgers.
300 hamburgers.
I'll take one. You want fries?
Many French fries.
Do you prefer McDonald's or Wendy's?
I like them all. If it's American, I like it.
En route to the waiting limousine, it is clear the president is anticipating that this will be the best moment of his day.
We're going to go get some burgers. One cheeseburger and one fries for me. All right, so then I got a little cheeseburger with lettuce, tomato, ketchup, and pickles. Well, put the lettuce on mine, too. Right?
Back at the White House, he exits the limo with two enormous grease-stained shopping bags full of
Great American food
for the hungry staff.
There's some fries and ketchup and all that.
Thank you, man.
Enjoy.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
What do we got?
Cheeseburger, ketchup only, French fries from the president. A lot of grease. Life wouldn't be worth living without it.
Thanks, guys.
Enjoy your food.
I think it was classless on the part of the President of the United States. These are elite athletes that are national champions, and this is how you greet them.
I would warn against taking their eye off the ball about what's going on in the world over some fast food at the White House to a football team.
I don't know. I guess I took it very differently. When I saw him giving the football players, it's a predominantly black sport and fast food, my thought went a very different place.
This is distraction. There are reasons to be upset right now, and this ain't it.
Can he get a hamburger in this building?
I'm going to need some sunglasses because the hypocrisy is blinding. Howdy, y'all. Welcome back to the Wright Brothers. I appreciate you being here with me today. My older brother, the elder Felder, actually had some family matters to attend to, but the show must go on. The media cycle never stops, and I'm here with you this week to recap a couple of things that have gone on of late in the news cycle. So first and foremost, shout out to all of our subscribers in the tribe. You are our community. We couldn't do this without all of y'all's wonderful support. If this is your first time watching, when you're done watching, we would love for you to press that subscribe button. Membership in our tribe is completely free. Just make sure when you press subscribe, you also press the bell icon right next to it so that you're updated every time we upload a new video. Now, without further ado, though, we want to jump into today is two main topics. The first of which is the Clemson football team visiting President Trump at the White House. So as many of you know, Clemson roundly defeated Alabama, the Crimson Tide, in the 2019 National College Football Championship, and subsequently were invited to the White House to dine with President Trump and to receive accolades from him for their accomplishments. Now, ostensibly, people would think that this is an opportunity for enjoyment, for high praise for the team, opportunity for them to really reap the benefits of the efforts that they've put in over the season. But this is not the case. As we all talked about in our last video, Shutdown Showdown, we already said the government is shut down, and that means that some of the services that typically are offered are actually not able to be executed because the employees are furloughed. So instead of actually canceling the visit, what President Trump did was actually he was able to give part of his largesse to the Clemson football team, and he reached into his own pocket to pay for the food that they had that evening. And it was some fast food options from McDonald's, from Wendy's, from Domino's Pizza even. And you would think that this would be met with praise from people who said, at least he did something for these athletes, right? The athletes seem to be appreciative of his efforts. Wide receiver Nolan Turner, he actually mentioned that it was one of the best buffet lines he'd ever gone through. But the media obviously takes no opportunity to not slander and defame the current president. And they will jump at any reason to accuse him of being parvenu. And what we saw, though, is that, so Trump is joking around with the team. He's talking about, he bought all this fast food, and he made a joke about the burgers that he bought being piled a mile high. Now, obviously, to the sane individual with an operating and fully functioning brain, we are aware that this statement is actually hyperbole, and it's applied throughout most of our culture day in and day out. But what the Washington Post, our friends over there, what they decided to do was to call President Trump on the carpet for giving misleading comments, and they said that a 2-inch burger stacked up 1,000 times would not equal a mile high. Therefore, President Trump is lying. This just shows you that it doesn't matter what President Trump says or does, per se. It doesn't matter. The media will stop at nothing to ruthlessly assassinate his character. And this is just the latest example of that. But obviously, we know by now that the media has stooped to this level before. As we saw a couple of years back, the media was upset that President Trump got a different type of salad dressing than other people. And he got 2 scoops of ice cream, everybody else got 1. It doesn't matter. This just goes to show you the lengths that the media will go to portray President Trump in a negative light. Now, in the intro, we saw Stephen A. Smith and our friends over at ESPN First Take criticize President Trump's efforts once again, even going so far to accuse him of being racist for offering fast food to these football players who came to the White House. I don't understand really where this came from, but if that wasn't enough, then Reggie Bush hopped on the bandwagon. You may have remembered Reggie Bush. A little over a decade ago, he actually was the Heisman Trophy winner. Then he had to forfeit the Heisman Trophy amidst allegations of spiking girls' drinks with Rohypnol or mind-altering substances. Be that as it may, Reggie Bush took it upon himself to say that it was a slap in the face to the Clemson football team and that President Trump should have been ashamed of himself, and that if Reggie Bush had been there, he would have taken all the team out for a fancy dinner somewhere. So what this is the classic example of virtue signaling. In episode 6, we talked about perpetual outrage and virtue signaling. That actually is a segue into our next topic, which is about Gillette going out of their way to virtue signal to a very specific group of people. Now, for those of you who aren't on our Facebook page, my older brother Eddie actually gave his take on the Gillette commercial a couple days ago. But for those of you who are not, I'm going to go ahead and give you my take on it now. So Gillette is the latest company to really suffer from what I call auto-cannibalistic marketing. And what that is it's these companies that go out of their way to show solidarity with a particular cause or movement, but then they fail to realize that appealing so strongly to one side is obviously going to ostracize and alienate the other side. For example, after the Parkland shooting, we had Dick's Sporting Goods come out and try to increase or heighten the intensity around gun control by enacting some extra measures to make guns less accessible. And then we saw Nike most recently side with the anthem kneeler Colin Kaepernick and claim that he had sacrificed everything to believe in something. And we talked about that in a different episode as well. Just don't do it. But this is the latest example of a company going out of their way to basically pick a side. But then what they fail to realize is that there are consequences for these actions. But before we jump into really what the commercial is all about, let's go ahead and actually watch the video together and then see exactly what went wrong and where they went wrong in the first place.
Bullying.
The Me Too movement against sexual harassment.
Masculinity.
Is this the best a man can get? Is it?
Bullying, a problem.
We can't hide from it.
Sexual harassment is taking over.
It's been going on far too long. We can't laugh it off.
Who's the daddy?
What I actually think she's trying to say.
Making the same old excuses.
Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys.
But something finally changed.
Allegations regarding sexual assault and sexual harassment.
But she says
And there will be no going back.
Okay, so as you can probably deduce by now, this is the latest in a long line of attacks against the recently prevalent term toxic masculinity, which basically is a fancy way to say men are inherently bad, men are inherently evil, boys will be boys, boys are violent, crass, men are violent, terrible people who need to be put in check, basically, right? So what I don't understand with this ad really is, I saw a couple things. So if you noticed, actually, it was a very split second, but in the scene when the people are in the movie theater and they're laughing at some ostensibly depraved joke someone made on screen, you see a group of men, doing what men do, just, laughing uproariously as if it was the most hilarious thing they'd ever seen. What you may have missed, though, is that there actually was a woman in that crowd. I don't know who was in charge of casting this group of people, but they obviously missed the mark there as far as making their point full and complete. Now, we also want to look at, though, is that their choice of spokespeople for this ad So I understand, there's different people who have different sides and who have different causes that are very important to them. But when I saw Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks start speaking, it really took me aback because Anna Kasparian is anything but a civil debater. There's some clips that I'm going to play for you right now. It's going to show you exactly kind of what kind of person Anna Kasparian really is.
I have no respect for women who voted for Trump, okay?
Yeah, me too.
I think so poorly of them. Get off the stage, you got I don't think that you're a single issue voter. I just think you're dumb, okay? I think you're fucking dumb.
And that's enough of that. So it doesn't make sense to me why they would choose to use her as the face of this brand, or even to help assist spreading this message, because Anna Kasparian in and of herself is not the most clean person to be using to champion any form of social justice, but this is 2019 and literally anything goes. So the moral of the story, though, is Gillette is the latest company where while trying to appear woke, has actually starting to experience a very public and self-inflicted vivisecture by people who are outraged that Gillette would feel the need to castigate most men who do use their products and say that men need to be put in check or this or that. And it just goes to show you that the attack is only increasing. It's only going to stop if we start calling people out on the carpet and saying, this is not okay. Like, it's not okay for you to talk out of one side of your mouth and say, women should be able to do whatever they want here and there. The future is female. That's all fine and good when you say that. But when you flip the coin and then say men are inherently X, Y, or Z, it doesn't hold water. And for any self-respecting man out there, look, I get it. The moral of that commercial that they played was to really show that men can be better, and we can. And we absolutely can. But it's not fair for you to basically make this assumption or make this inference or imply that all men are terrible, or that most men are terrible and in need of reform, without suffering the consequences that Gillette has seen. So what I want to know is, what are your thoughts on the Clemson football team and the outrage over that? This Gillette commercial that has really caused a lot of backlash for Gillette. What do you think about companies that are choosing to pick sides in the name of social justice? I want to hear your thoughts. We always say we love hearing from our base. The only way to make free thought great again is by being willing to have the conversation. All we ask is that you contribute to that conversation. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this video up now. First and foremost, I do want to give a very special shout out to my friend Frank Sarmiento of the YouTube channel Let's Be Frank. Now, my brother and I, we can only upload videos about once per week, but Frank actually is a master at getting to the news cycle almost as it happens. So give him check him out, subscribe to him if you so choose, and check his videos out. He's a great guy and a great friend of mine. But we also want you to encourage you to go to our Facebook page, The Wright Brothers IPID, where you can engage with us on an even deeper level and also hear from us more in a live setting. We try to go live there as we can, in a way to bring you the news in a time frame that's a little more cogent with what's going on literally as it happens. And we also want to thank people who have supported us through Patreon. We just launched our Patreon page. For those of you who don't know, our channel has already started to encounter censorship from YouTube. And y'all support through Patreon really helps keep us going, any financial amount. And like we said, we appreciate those who have donated, and those who feel so led, please feel free to check that page out as well. But thank you for taking this time with us once again. We appreciate your time every time you come and join us. Smash that like button if you liked our content, and know that there's more content coming soon. But without further ado, thanks and gig 'em.
The first revolution is when you change your mind about how you look at things and see that there might be another way to look at it that you have not been shown. The revolution will not be televised, and be no rerun, brothers and sisters. The revolution